Hey y'all. So I know today is Tuesday. Y'all like, what's going on? She does her live on Sunday. Well, on Sunday, child, I had some complications. So I was like, I'm going to do it again though, because I was trying to debate like, am I going to do my live? Hold on, lip gloss. I was like, am I going to do my live or am I just going to enjoy my vacation? But for me, I have to learn to be consistent. I really have a struggle in the area of being consistent. I'll start stuff and I won't finish it. So for me, it was more of the action of being consistent in doing it. But God was like, girl, enjoy your vacation. So for those of you who had joined on Sunday, I do apologize that you guys were not able to hear the audio. Nonetheless, the content will be delivered today and it will be viewable in my HGTV. So hopefully you guys will check it out there and tell me what you think. So I had a couple people request the content for today's live, which was branding. For those of you who do not know about me, again, I am the Diva of Curves. I also go by Didi. But my background is in business and marketing. That's actually what my master's is in, and that's what my ultimate goal is, to have my own branding and consulting firm where I work with minority women and minority business owners, helping them to cultivate and target the audience that they ultimately want to sell their product or service to. Hey, Crystal. So branding, what is branding? People always are talking about branding, but we're just like, what is that and why do I need to know about it? So branding is pretty much the logo, the color, the image, or anything that is going to be associated with your brand. So when you think about McDonald's, the first thing you think about is red and yellow. Those are the McDonald's colors. So whether you see them at the McDonald's store or you see them just in a magazine, you automatically think McDonald's. And so what you want is you want to create that same style and that same concept for your brand. It doesn't matter if you're selling lotion or if you're selling bread. You want everything to be branded. So when I think about branding, one of my favorite companies, and I don't necessarily endorse them, but I love the Kardashians. Like, I love the way everything they touch is branded. They're not doing any type of projects or endeavors if it does not have their branding on it. Even when Kim works with Kylie, she still puts in there KKW/Kylie or something. So that is really important to make sure that you guys are consistently giving your target audience that branding across the board. So even if I decided to do a podcast with Crystal, I would still make sure that my stuff that says the Diva of Curve is still on there in addition to Crystal's logo. So just make sure that you are consistent across the board. If you do not have a logo, it's very important to create one. And again, this can be something that you outsource. If you feel like, hey, I'm just not tech savvy to do that, feel free to outsource it. You can also try Canva, and there are a lot of other little platforms that you can go on, but you guys definitely need a high quality logo. It's good if you can to go ahead and get one that is also transparent or a vector file, but if you cannot afford that, or that's just something that you don't necessarily need right now, just make sure that you go on there and get a logo to start with. I think a lot of people spend too much time and money on a logo in the very beginning. You just need something to help your brand be recognizable. When you think about Google, how many times has Google changed their logo? You know, so it's not necessarily something that has to stay with you forever, but it definitely needs to be with you in the beginning process. So again, just get you something that can represent your brand, helps your target audience identify with you, and then as you develop through your different stages in your business, you can always go in and enhance that. Also making sure that your colors are consistent. I'm really big. The one thing I love about Canva is once you select a color, it'll give you a number. So I normally write that number down. If you have the Canva Pro, you can actually create what's called a branding package or something like that, a media kit or something like that. So it automatically populates all your fonts and it automatically populates your colors. But in the event that you do not have Pro, it still gives you that color. So you can actually go to a print company and say, hey, I need a shirt printed with my logo on it. Use color 44321. And that's the color that they will use. So make sure you're consistent with your font and your colors when you're doing your branding stuff. So the first area I actually want to talk on is IG. IG is one of the biggest platforms that people tend to use now for marketing and branding because it's so easy to use. So make sure that one, you create your IG profile. make sure that you have selected the correct business profile. It's cool to have a personal profile, but you really need to make sure that you're using a business profile so that you get all that analytics and all the data that comes with your business profile as an additional benefit. And we'll talk about that later, all the analytics stuff, because that is extremely heavy and it's a deep conversation. So just make sure that you do go in, you select for that to now be a business profile. And again, you can create whatever subtopic fits best with your brand. If you're a blogger, if you are a business or retail, if you're providing a service. But that's important because one, it lets your potential client know what services you offer. So make sure you go in and do that. The next thing is going to also be your bio. Make sure your bio is fun and catchy. I played with my bio because I did not want it to be too wordy. And then two, I also wanted it to be something that grabs people's attention. So at first I think I had something like plus size reseller 2X to 5X. Don't nobody care. Nobody don't care about that. They want something that's going to catch their attention. And so I think now I put on their classy, bougie, ratchet or something like that to maybe get people's attention and also let them know about the product that I'm serving. Because some of my clothes are business wear. So that might be a little sassy. Then some of it is ratchet because I might have some risque pieces. So just letting your audience know without them even having to stroll past your bio what it is that you do. And then you also are going to need a call to action. So what is a call to action? It's going to encourage your target audience or the people viewing your profile to do something. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go to your YouTube? Do you want me to shop now? Do you want me to contact you? Like, once I see your Instagram, what is my next step? And so make sure that you put a short but thought out call to action. So I think mine is shop my closet, and then I have like some fingers or something pointing to the link down below. So give your audience something to do. Don't expect them just to know. So when they come on there, I want them to see, okay, this is what I have. I am a plus size reseller, or I'm a plus size fashion reseller. These are, this is who I cater to, the sassy, bougie, ratchet. Go on there, and then I want them to shop my closet. Then I also put in something about my hashtag, so they can even tag me in my hashtag. So say for instance, Susie purchases something from my Poshmark closet. I want her to tag me. So that way, once she started tagging me, what is other people going to do? They're going to click on that hashtag and it's going to follow back to my page. So again, remember, have a call to action. You can have several call to actions. So one could be, follow me on YouTube, and then the next one could be shop here or tag me in this, that, and the third. But a call to action is super important for any business, not just for reselling. The next thing is going to be your layout. I know a lot of people do like the checkerboard layout, where obviously, checkerboard is red, then it's black, red, then it's black. Some people do that. Some people do the row. So it might be 3 pictures of the same style or same profile. So say for instance, I had on a red top. I would have a red top here. Then I might have a close-up with me in the red top. And then the next one might just be a focal of the red top. So that's called a row by row layout. I'm not really big on the layout features, but there are some businesses that aesthetically that works for them. Me, I'm more off the cuff. I'm more of a creative, and so I like for my stuff to flow. Now, what I do is I try to put pink in my stuff. So you'll notice a lot of my stuff is very enhanced with subtle colors of pink, and that's because pink is in my logo. That's part of my branding, so I try to be intentional to include pink in most of my posts. Now again, I'm not that boring type. I don't want to see pink every day, so there will be some posts that I will switch it up a little, but for the most part, I do try to use pink in my branding. Again, that helps my audience to identify, okay, this is the Diva of Curve, Texas, and they don't necessarily have to click on my post. They'll know that by seeing my colors. The next thing is the quality of the photos, guys. Make sure you are practicing with your cameras. You do not have to have fancy equipment. I do have a digital camera, but I'll be honest, I don't use it often because it's complicated for me to have to take the pictures, then upload them to the computer when I can do all that from my iPhone. So 95% of the pictures that you see come from my iPhone, and they're not even from the rear facing camera. I take them from the front. So the main things I would say is to practice. A lot of people don't know that I actually took photography in high school. So I took photography in high school all the way up to undergrad. So I do have slightly more experience than probably the common person just walking on the street, but I would by far say that I'm not a professional. So the skills that I have acquired are things that are definitely attainable. You can Google, you can YouTube how to take great headshots, how to do things that are going to boost your image, especially as far as whatever you're selling or what services that you're promoting. But be kind with yourself, practice. A lot of times I take 100 pictures and I only end up liking 2. So like I say, just continue to practice and learn your angles. There will be another video, especially for my plus size ladies, to ask, like, you know, how do I pose, or how do I smile, or how do you get your face to look like this? Is practice. Okay, so it's all about practicing and knowing your angle. And also, if you are selling things, because everybody on here is not necessarily trying to photograph themselves, they might be trying to photograph an item. Make sure you have quality lighting. If you don't have an expensive ring light, make sure that you are up during the daytime to utilize your sunlight, finding areas in your house or your apartment that has lots of sunlight. Like my living room is really bright right now, so if I did not have this expensive ring light, I would position myself in a chair so that I could use that natural sunlight. So by far, don't think you have to have expensive equipment. I've seen people do more with less. So use what you have to get the quality, but I do encourage people to practice and make sure that you are using the best technology that you have available. Also, you can use editing software. Again, I'm not really big on all of that back and forth. I just want to be able to do it and be done. But I do know people who go in and use editing software to maybe lighten pictures, bring the saturation up. So that's an additional option. If you do not have, like I say, a whole lot of sunlight, you can also go in and use those. The next thing I would say is research the picture techniques. Again, I know it's one girl, she's really good, and I'll tag her, guys, if I can find her page. She does a lot of the plus size stuff, like how to take pictures. She is phenomenal, and she just really talks about like learning your angles, how to tilt your head and stuff like that. So again, do your research. I'm not the guru when it comes to all of that stuff, because I'm not a model and I don't want to be a model. But if that's something that you are interested in, is learning how to better angle yourself, do that. But I will do one particularly on like selfies and full body. So I will have one coming about that. Also, think about your end goal. So when I started this business, initially I was just like, I just want to resell. Like, I didn't think about myself as a brand. And that's, I would say, was my biggest setback, because I just thought of it as, I just want to sell clothes. But I had to start thinking like a business owner. This is my business. Even though I am selling clothes, it's a business, and I needed to respect it as such. So I had to begin to think about my end goal. So for me, my end goal is working with plus size brands. And I mean like the pillars of the plus size community, helping to advocate for equality, helping to advocate for clothing that looks like we want to wear, not this old grandma stuff, and then definitely also advocating for affordable prices. So I needed to market my brand so that those type of brands would be attracted to me. So again, with your brand, think about your end result. Where do you want this to take you ultimately? You know, you can be a reseller now, but do you want to be a buyer? Do you want to be a merchant for a large corporation like Macy's, or, you know, some of these other larger department stores? So think about your end goal. Or is this just something where you want to add spare change to your life and you possibly want to network? So think about your end goal and try to work on your business from that aspect. So again, for me, I want everything to be extremely polished. I want it to be nice. I want it to be professional looking. So that way, if a brand does land on my page, they can say, you know what, this woman actually put a lot of time and effort into her business, into her brand. And lastly, consistency. Make sure you guys are consistent with your posting. As I mentioned earlier, when I was on vacation, I was just like, oh my God, am I going to post? Am I not going to post? And so for me, being consistent is super important, especially with me, you know, doing my lives on a Sunday. And it just so happened that the weekend was my birthday. And so I was just like, I'm going to be consistent. This is something that I'm going to do for myself, is being consistent, whether, you know, nobody gets on or I have 100 people to get on. Consistency is my number one thing. Also plan it out. So if you are going out of town, a lot of my posts were already automated. So you can use a number of different services to automate your post. So even if you want to be out of the country with limited internet service, there's no excuse. Plan ahead and make sure that you're using those automated services. Most of them are absolutely free, and they will actually post to your website or post to your Instagram for you. So a lot of the posts that you saw, I had already automated those last week, so that way I did not have to be in front of my phone. I was able to actually enjoy myself. The only thing I could not automate, and I really probably could have just recorded the video and uploaded it as a live, but I didn't want to do that because I lose a lot of the interaction. And that's what I actually like, is to interact with you guys and seeing you guys saying something as far as like what you want to do. And the next thing is, after you do the consistency, make sure that you're engaging. And for me, I think I was a little bit naive on this. I'm like, I'm posting all this great stuff. Why is people not commenting? Like, why are they not looking at my page? But I forgot that I wasn't engaging. Like, I wasn't talking to my followers. I wasn't going out and looking at the explore page and finding people who are related to me and just creating conversation and dialogue. That stuff is super important. We hear engage, but we really don't understand what engage means as far as social media. You have to do more than just be present. You cannot just post great pictures. You have to engage. That means, again, going to those explore pages, following the hashtags and seeing who's on there. And with the hashtags, I encourage y'all not to do those top. Do not do top. I despise that. The reason why is because a lot of the people in the top get all of the attention. If you are not familiar with Instagram, if you put in like a hashtag, you search hashtag, whatever it could be. So mine might be plus size. Now it is segmented into two separate sections. A lot of times people don't notice this. It says top post, and then slightly above it'll be one that says recent post. I challenge you guys to go to the recent post. The reason why is because a lot of those people do not get engagements because they've just started out with their Instagram accounts. And so a lot of us who don't have 40,000 followers, that's where our stuff lands. It doesn't land in the top post because we don't have the followers and the engagement to rank us as high. So I have now began going into those recent posts and going in there and showing love to people there. And how often should we engage with our followers? Daily. One of my PFFs, they told me that they literally take an hour out of their day to engage. And so that's one of my goals, is maybe I'll do 30 minutes in the morning and try to do 30 minutes on the back end as far as my day, and just devoting that time to engage. And that is important. I'm telling you, once I started to engage, I noticed my likes went up. I noticed my followers went up, and I just felt better because I wasn't just strolling on people's Instagram, because I know how hard it is to get those comments. And so I felt like I was also doing a service to them. And so make sure that you guys are engaging. Posting at least 2 to 3 times a day will definitely help to get you more exposure. Using your stories, making sure that you're using your hashtags and your locations. I really wish I could show y'all some of my engagements. So when I post crazy locations, sometimes people are like, are you here? Are you there? No, I post a variety of locations based on the service that I provide. Again, I do my research. I know the states and I know the cities that have a lot of plus size people in, or people who are obese. So I've done my research to know which states to tag the most. I know which states I ship my plus size clothing to the most. So those are the areas that I'm going to continue to target and segment. So that's why you see me saying, oh, I'm in Houston, or I'm in Atlanta, I'm in different places, because that's also important. And I love being able to see when I like put a location there, how many people actually clicked on my post from that location. So and also going one step back to the comments, make sure that you guys are commenting more than 4 words. And the reason why is because that's the way IG's analytics is set up now, that they prefer you to have more than 4 words and not an emoji. The emoji does not count as your 4th word. So don't go on there and say, oh, cute. You know, you got to say, girl, I really love that top. You know, and then just go, and then you can add some emojis. But it needs to at least be 4 words for you to be able to rank higher as far as engagement. So pretty much it's saying, like, if you do not list 4 words in your comments, they're pretty much not even counting that as an engagement. So in order for your engagement and your activity to count, it needs to be 4 words or more. And again, that can be an emoji. And that's not saying all of your comments have to be 4 words or more, but the bulk of them definitely need to be 4 words or more. Along with that, make sure that you guys are using your own branded hashtags. If you have not created a hashtag, you're late in the game and you need to create one. The hashtag needs to also be included in 80 to 90% of all of your posts. You notice I started hashtagging the pink sofa on Sundays. I also hashtag the Diva of Curve, Texas. Make sure you have a hashtag. That hashtag easily identifies your brand. And once you guys start to get the level of followers you want, it's not going to be hard for you to try to get them to start participating in your hashtag. So make sure that you're using it. Also, pay the cost to be the boss. Don't be cheap, people. Run ads. Don't be cheap. Despite what people might say about running ads, don't be afraid to use ads, okay? So what you can do is you create you some really good content. Say, for instance, you're shooting a YouTube video. I know Crystal's really good with YouTube videos. I love her channel. So make sure y'all go check her out. But if you're doing a YouTube channel, say, for instance, you know you have this series coming out, promote it. Promote the series on your Instagram page. The great thing about promotions is you can link it to a website. So you can say, hey, we're going to be talking about plus size, clothing, or we're going to be doing a haul from Walmart today. And instead of just putting it on your Instagram, promote that. So that way now your followers and people who are not actually following you will know to go to your YouTube channel. So those are things that I'm really big on. Make sure that you are promoting the thing. And also the thing about Instagram is your budget can be as small or as large as you want it. So don't feel intimidated by, I don't have $1,000 to run an ad. You set the budget. If you want to spend $5 a day, you spend $5 a day. Of course, you're not going to reach as many people, but you still will reach more people than you would if you were just using your hashtags. So Fiona86 asks, how do you create a hashtag? Your hashtag is unique to you or your brand. So it can be as short or as long as you want to. Mine is the Diva of Curve, Texas, which for me is a little bit long, but I have not had time to really think of a shortened one. So you can come up with something. I know like TFABs is TFAB. So you can come up with something that represents your brand, an acronym. It's up to you how you create that hashtag. But again, it just has to be consistent and making sure that you are using it and you're encouraging your audience to use that hashtag on a regular. Making sure that, again, once you've ran that ad, that you also include your advertising, such as your business cards from our resellers. Make sure you have like some type of business card, sticker. Trish has this really cute stamp. I'm still in that idea. Because I'm like, I don't want to spend all of that money on like stickers and stuff like that, because obviously the end goal is to make money. I'm not selling Louis Vuitton. I'm not selling Dolce & Gabbana. If I was selling those type of things, I would definitely not mind putting, all that extra stuff in there that costs so much money, but I'm not. So I try to think of really cute ways to brand myself, but things that are not super expensive. Hold on one second, Chris, I never thought of it. Yeah, you can definitely, so she's mentioning YouTube. You can definitely run an ad on YouTube, which is cool, but I also like to cross promote. So say for instance, you have an IG page or you have a Facebook page, you can also run an ad there and it will send them to that YouTube channel. So when I first started my YouTube channel, because I'm still working on that, y'all, Krista gonna help me get my life together. But when I first started my YouTube channel, you might have saw me run an ad that encouraged people to go to my YouTube channel. And I actually got quite a bit of views from my YouTube channel just off of Instagram. And so that's how I did it. I would go and I would change my bio to my YouTube channel and they were able to go over. And again, you can do that both ways. So if you have your Instagram, you can, if you have your YouTube, you can encourage them to come to your Instagram and vice versa. But I love ads. Yeah, so hashtags can be tricky, and that's why I say I try to just, this right now I'm just basically touching on them, because hashtags can be very tricky. you have so many different myths about hashtags. Some people tell you to use popular hashtags, some people tell you not to use popular hashtags. Like, hashtags is just all over the place. So until you really get a consistent method for it, I just tell people to play around with them and do what works for you. For me, I do some popular. I try to do a mix. I do some that are really popular and I do some that are not as popular. Reason being is when you choose those popular hashtags, those pages populate so fast that your stuff is gone within 2 seconds. And what I mean by that, so say for instance, I use the hashtag fashion. I don't know why my screen is looking dim like that, but if I use the hashtag fashion, by the time 2 minutes is gone, 50 people, probably 500 people have already posted fashion. So now my post is at the bottom of the list, as opposed to if I use curvy fashion. Curvy fashion is not as popular, so guess what? My post is going to sit there longer. It might take it 6 minutes to hit the bottom, as opposed to using fashion, it takes it 2 minutes. Literally, if you guys go on there and look at fashion, say you post something and go on there and look at it 2 minutes later and see where your post is at. Your post is going to probably be 50, 60 pictures down, because that's how fast those hashtags are generated. So again, that is a whole nother discussion. The main thing right now is just to start using them. Start using them and start watching your analytics. With your analytics, you'll be able to tell which hashtag post is working for you and which one is not. So that's why I say right now the main thing is just start practicing, getting in the habit of using the hashtags, and we can take a deeper dive into that, or you guys can always DM me. But like I said, what I do, especially with my stories, that's a really good place to monitor what hashtags are working for you. Go in and look at your insight and see what hashtags promoted the most. Like one time I put Seattle, and Seattle, like 10 people looked at my story just based off of the location. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that. And like I said, make sure that you guys are just branding everything that you're touching. Make sure you put your branding on it. Your shirt. Make sure if you are carrying a bag or something like that and you want to be in the general public, you have your bag. Make sure you keep cards and stuff like that on you. Make sure you're doing everything to make your audience aware of your brand. For those of you who just hopped on late, branding is anything that helps your target audience to identify who you are, what you do, and we want to make sure that that stays consistent. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I know a lot of people were like, what can I do as far as my brand, even on Instagram? So this was just a tidbit of some of the things you can do to help to increase your insight and your Instagram presence as far as your brand. Let me guys know what else you want to know in my comments, or feel free to DM me. Thank y'all so much, and I'll talk to y'all next time.